I've always wanted to make a full analysis video about Phil Heath versus Roelly Winklaar at the 2018 Mr. Olympia, where Phil was defeated by Sean Rodden and placed second, and Roelly was placed third. Now we all know that Sean won and defeated Phil because Phil couldn't control his midsection, and because Sean managed to nail his conditioning, although I still believe that aside from his bloated midsection, Phil's conditioning was just great. But the question is, did Roelly deserve to be placed second? Now starting with the front double biceps, you can easily see that Roelly's V-taper is more impressive with his wider lats and narrow midsection. Roelly almost hits the vacuum pose with his ripped abs, while Phil is struggling to keep his bloated stomach under control, but he fails as we can still see that his midsection is bloated in comparison to the amazing aesthetics of Roelly's abs. This is a winning pose for Roelly Winklaar. Now both are known for not hitting the best front lat spread because both of them have massive arms and forearms that overshadow their lats. But Roelly is still wider than Phil in the chest and the shoulders areas, which gives him the better V-taper to win this pose. So the front lat spread goes to Roelly. The side chest reveals the great conditioning they both had last year with the lines they show in their chest, shoulders and thighs. Both have great shoulders and arms which are considered among their most powerful muscular areas. But I still think that Phil's chest looks better in this pose, especially the lower chest which looks fuller and more rounded than that of Roelly. But this is just my opinion and you may disagree. So I think Phil would win this pose with a narrow margin. Now we all know who the winner would be when it comes to the back double biceps, as Phil arguably has the best current back double biceps pose, which shows Phil's superior 3D back in comparison to Roelly's back, which is arguably considered among his weaker areas, especially his flattened lower back. Phil's glutes and hamstrings are more ripped and better conditioned, so he would easily win this pose. Now, although Phil is obviously better conditioned in his lower section, but when it comes to the rear lat spread, then judges also observe contenders' lats width. And here comes the strength of Roelly's lats, which are wider than those of Phil, who has been always criticized for his lack of width overall. Now, by taking a look at the rear lat spread of the top 4 winners, you can easily notice that Sean's lat spread might be the weakest among the rest, while Roelly's lats are the widest, the most impressive, and the most aesthetic with his narrow waist. It's true that Phil looks incredibly conditioned here, but Roelly's conditioning is not bad either, and his width over Phil would make it up for Phil's superior conditioning in the glutes and the hamstrings. So Roelly would win the rear lat spread. As for the side triceps, which might be a tough call between the two, because we all know that Phil and Roelly arguably have the best triceps in current bodybuilding. Both show great size and details in their shoulders and arms. By taking another look at the top 4 winners, I think William Bonac might be having the best side triceps in this photo. Phil doesn't hit this pose properly as he doesn't look comfortable as Bonac does, but he still shows great triceps development as Roelly does. Both are incredibly ripped overall, but I still think that Phil's chest looks better in this pose with its fullness and roundedness. And this might give Phil the win in the side triceps, but with a very narrow margin. The abs and thighs is another winning pose for Roelly Winklaar. Look how aesthetic and ripped his abs are in comparison to Phil's bloated midsection. Their arms look great in this pose, but Roelly's wider lats sweep perfectly with his narrow midsection and give him the more impressive V-taper. Phil's thighs are better with their size, separation, and conditioning, but I don't think that this is enough to give him the win with his bloated midsection against Roelly's incredibly ripped and aesthetic abs. The most muscular is another tough call between the two, because they arguably have the best shoulders nowadays, which give them the possibility of hitting a very impressive most muscular pose. Phil's chest is narrower and smaller, but his shoulders are massive and rounded. By taking a look from this angle, you can notice that Phil is not as wide as Roelly is, but his amazing shoulders look fuller than those of Roelly. Also, his delts form a pyramid shape over his massive shoulders, which adds to the intimidation of his most muscular pose. Not taking anything from Roelly, but Phil looks more impressive in this pose, and can't just overlook his incredibly huge, ripped and separated quads. Phil, in short, looks more complete and the most muscular overall. So all in all, Roelly wins the front double biceps, the front lat spread, the rear lat spread, and the abs and thighs, while Phil wins the side chest, the side triceps, the back double biceps, and the most muscular. Now, if you want to give the side triceps to Roelly, then it's fair to say that Roelly should have been placed second last year. However, and to maintain credibility, I still think that it was very close between them, with Phil being slightly better overall with his better conditioning, especially in his lower section with his more huge and better separated and ripped quads, hamstrings and glutes. That was all for this video. Let me know what you think about it. Thanks for watching and have a nice one.